Hey guys, today we're taking a look at the new McFarlane Toys DC Multiverse Collector Edition Ragman. Let's get a better look at that packaging, shall we? And here we are up close and personal with the packaging here, which, of course, up at the top, we have the age rating, which is, of course, 12 plus for this figure, which is pretty standard for all McFarlane figures. On the side, we, of course, have the silver McFarlane Collector Edition right there with the silver trim along the packaging there. We have the DC Multiverse logo at the bottom with the Ragman nameplate right there. On the side there, we have the Ragman nameplate with the DC Multiverse logo up at the top. Number 19 of the wave right there. On the back, we have this awesome comic book panel right there showing the different ancestors that the Rags have inherited over time. And this is Ragman from the story called Shadow Pact, which I don't remember that story. It rings a bell. I think I've heard of it, but I haven't read it. And then at the bottom there, we of course have the McFarlane Toys Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Follow them for all your needs in terms of McFarlane Toys, you know. They're a great resource on being up to date with like pre-orders and stuff like that if you're a part of the pre-order gang. But really good resources right there. On the other side, we of course have the collector edition up top, Ragman from the story Shadow Pact. Up at the top, we have the DC Multiverse logo there, another number 19 with the McFarlane Toys logo there. Up at the tippy top there, we have the 22 moving parts, another McFarlane Toys logo, and a window up at the top with nothing on the very top. On the bottom there, we have the Batman legalese, which, if you're aware of the character, I did not know this was a Batman-related character, so that's interesting to find out. And we, of course, have a barcode for all you barcode hunters out there. So, alright, guys, let's get this dude out of the packaging. Here we have Ragman out of the packaging here, and of course, before we take a look at the figure himself, we're of course going to take a look at the other contents, which, up first, if you know the line, there's always two things that you got to take a look at, and that is the hockey puck, which is a standard DC Multiverse hockey puck there with the white DC logo for the collector edition line, and then the one peg, nothing on the back. And then we, of course, have the individualized card, which has the panel from the back of the packaging, which is a really awesome panel, by the way. I love it. And then you, of course, have the McFarlane Collector Edition foil down there, kind of breaking up the flow of the art. And then on the back, you have a real intense bio of Ragman, which I'm just going to put this there for a few minutes. Which, if you watch the show Arrow, this was a fan favorite character that was introduced in season 5, and I'm just gonna take that away because you obviously probably paused it if you needed to. But if you watched Arrow, you'd remember this guy as being one of your favorites from new characters from the later portion of the show. He was a really cool character that they brought in during the start of season 5. But then I think the writers realized that he had powers and was a bit too OP. So they basically forced him to go away. He did come back in the finale though, which was nice. But he was one of the standouts of season 5. And it's a shame that we didn't get more of him in Arrow. But that's why I was so confused to learn that he was actually a Batman character. Is that he was in Arrow. So, and that's another reason why Arrow was trying to be a Batman show, but it wasn't, is the fact that they used Batman characters, you know, like Ra's al Ghul, Ragman, obviously, Deathstroke, a lot of Batman characters going on in there. But we, of course, also have the card stand, which I hope these are going away, because I hate these. They're a waste of plastic, but you, of course, you know, slip the card in there. Yeah, they're so useful. But I hope these go away. And then for his actual accessories the Ragman has, is that he has rags that he shoots out of his hands, which that's kind of cool. I mean, let's see how practical these are, because I actually haven't put them on. But looks like getting him out of a superhero landing, you kind of just do something like that, and you throw one of these bad boys on there, like something like that. Yeah, something like that. They're fine accessories. I wish they'd stay on the forearm a little better and maybe shot out a bit more. But besides that, they're solid accessories. But of course, let's get into the actual figure here. And they're the same piece. They're the same piece. Just FYI, they are the same piece. Let's get into the actual figure now, which I'm pretty sure this is the first time we're actually seeing a new aspect of a figure come to life here, which is, we have the wired cape, of course, which feels very poorly constructed. I get it, because he's supposed to be wearing rags, but, like, the cape is very thin. Like, very thin. And I get it, rags. I get it. But, like, the cape is very thin, and you can feel the wire. You're not supposed to usually feel the wire. But they also have separated the hood from the cape, so when you rotate the hood around, it doesn't have the problem of your head looking into the hood. You can actually position the head with the actual hood, which for longtime figure collectors, this is a massive plus. And I know that Damien probably will be having the same thing, the new Damien figure that's coming out, which I will be taking a look at, because I have the Batman Reborn Batman. But, so that's a really cool piece that they're finally getting together. I also do like how many loops there are, giving the sense that the rags are literally sewn together like they are in the comics. But, overall, it's just the John Kent bod. It's the John Kent buck, the second most reused buck in the line behind the Booster Gold Blue Beetle body buck. How do I know? It's always the cuffs. It's always these cuffs. These are unique to John Kent's costume, and they just have not removed them. But you have different paint jobs right there. You can see the different patches that have been sewn on to this green vanilla buck that you can tell have just been painted on top. Lots of yellows and reds and browns and all that, making it look dirty and worn and all that stuff right there. Not the most exciting figure on the planet, but nonetheless. No detail on the back, just green. So you're really going to want to be looking at this guy from the front with the cape, because the back's not that exciting. So I guess we better be talking about, you know, the articulation, since I practically went over a lot of the details of the figure. So up first, he has a double ball peg in the head, which can look up about that far, can look down about that far. He can rotate his head all the way around, and has neck pivot. Standard double ball peg stuff. And of course with the posable hood, really nice stuff. And a bendy wire in the hood so you can pose the hood as well. You of course have in the shoulders, you have, there's ideally some, there we are. I just had to get it unstuck for a second. But there is the butterfly joint right there. And you, of course, can hinge it all the way out, go a full 360 around thanks to the cape. You have a bicep swivel. You have a double jointed elbow, which, yikes. You, of course, have the wrists, which roll the dice hinge like so, and then you can rotate them to move in and out. I love these wrists. They're awesome. I will not stop glazing them enough. For the abs, he can crunch about that far forward. He can move about that far back. I'm telling you, Todd, just reverse, just make it proportionally correct, and that range would be awesome. But, you know, never get what you want, I guess. And you, of course, can rotate like so at both points, up at the top and down at the bottom. So lots of range in the abs. He has standard McFarlane legs, which can move that far forward, that far back. He has thigh pivot like so. Double jointed knees. And at the top of the ankle, he can rotate. At the bottom, he has ankle pivot. He has a nice ratchet joint for the actual hinge. And of course, toe articulation and peg holes at the bottom of the feet. And here we have Ragman with some associated members of the Bat family here. We, of course, have Robin Tim Drake, Cassandra Cain, of course, our new Ragman right there. Achy Breaky Heart, 90s Nightwing right there. And, of course, Huntress right there. And I'd say they look great. They really look good. They look good together. I'm really excited to get this more like 80s, 90s post-crisis kind of lineup. Really cool getting a lot of these different eras, not just the modern stuff and the original stuff. Here we have Ragman with Batman right here. And again, very good combo right there. I mean, the Hush Batman goes great with pretty much any kind of version of any character. I mean, he's very neutral because he's toned down enough to where he looks kind of realistic, but he's very comic booky. But with this more exaggerated Ragman here, he looks good enough. And since I know Ragman most from the Arrow show, I figured why not give him a chance to be up with some of the Green Arrows of the line, and the only two I really have, because I refused to get the Longbow Hunters one because of how the hood is. Anyway, that's a whole different story. But we of course have Injustice Green Arrow right there, which is my favorite Green Arrow figure. And then we have the Stephen Amell Season 5 Arrow figure right there. And just look how far the line has come. Because he was Wave 1. Wave 1. And this is the stuff we're expecting now. Insane. Insane. And here we are kind of winding down on our look at Ragman here. And overall, I think he's a solid figure overall. That being said, he has some really good components and some not good components. Like the cape. I get what they're doing. It's supposed to be rags. I understand. But it just feels sloppily put together. And even though the hood separation, which is nice overall, it still manages to come out to just be a okay repaint for an already existing body buck. So overall, I kind of wouldn't recommend this figure, to be honest with you, unless if you're a huge fan of the character. That's just how it be, though. I mean, it's always nice to have wired capes. I love the wired capes. They really are awesome and really put this line above a lot of the other lines. But with that being said, that's not enough to recommend the whole figure. So I'm going to have to give him a 4. Yeah, a 4. He just feels really unnecessary. And like a repaint. That's all it really is. I don't know why you'd even have a desire to get this figure if you don't know the character. What would be like, oh, I want to get Ragman. You know what I mean? So that's really kind of it for this figure, to be honest. I mean, his accessories are okay too. But anyway, what do you guys think about Ragman? Tell me about him in the comments down below. And as always, like and subscribe and all that good stuff. And as always, keep collecting, be kind and courteous to one another, and I will see you in the next review. Peace.